All right. Hey there, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today we are going to be talking about restriction sets inside of your Totara courses. So restrictions are something that are available to you. Probably most of you are aware of restrictions. You're probably aware of that, but you might not be aware of that you can kind of cluster those and make them work together. So we'll take a look at that today. A little bit about myself. My name is Taylor Craig, and I am the Platforms Consultant here at Kineo. I say I'm not. There's two of us now. I forget that we have a second Platforms Consultant now. I'm one of the Platforms Consultants here at Kineo, and my job is to work with all of our lovely clients. I get to train you guys. I get to help with onboarding. I work really closely with our solution architects during the process of your onboarding and make sure that you understand any customizations that we've done for you, make sure you understand the core system, and just offer any kind of additional support along the way that I can. So that is my role. A little bit about office hours. What we do in here, I do about a 15-minute feature presentation over something Totara, and then we post that to YouTube. We let anybody have access to that needs it, and give that out there for the world to see. But then we also have about 45 minutes of client-only time, and inside of that time you can ask me any question that you have. If you have questions, great. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. Just let me know, and we'll see what we can do to get those answered. So today what we're talking about is restriction sets. Something that you may not be familiar with, but it's basically using exactly what it sounds like, using more than one restrictions. And you can add and or statements between restrictions. So you might use this as a means to provide access to a particular piece of content inside of a course that you want people to be able to see based on their completion of something else. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at what that might look like. So I'm going to get in here to my demo site. And let's just find a quick course here that we can jump into. That's the one I'm looking for. All right, so inside of this course, we've got all kinds of assignments, forums, scorums, anything like that. But we may want to restrict access to a quiz for some reason. So we may want people to have to go through some content first. They may have to go through a scorum package. They may have to complete something else. They may have to read something. And so then we want to restrict their access to that quiz. So to do that, you're going to turn settings for that quiz. So we're going to edit settings. And restrictions are going to be located kind of almost at the bottom. You may not have these turned on. If you don't have restrictions turned on, take a look under your advanced features inside of your site administration. It'll be around your completion criteria. That's where that's going to be located. So you have the ability to come in here and you can say must match the following, but we can come in and we can say add restriction. And you'll see here, these are all the different restrictions you can do. You can do activity completion, date, grade, group, groupings, user profile fields. You can do a restriction on a whole bunch of stuff. But you can also do a restriction set, which is basically a combination of all of those different things. So I've actually got two going on here. Let me get rid of that one. We've got one already, so we can come in, we can add a restriction, and we can say activity completion, so they have to complete another quiz. We can add another restriction, we can say a restriction set, and then this gives us restrictions within those restrictions. So you'll see here that we have an and statement in between, so I'm going to add one more restriction, and we can do this based on a user profile field. Is equal to, we'll do, okay, so it's up to you on if you want to utilize that. Now, one thing I want to point out is up here, this is where you're going to set your, if you get an and or statement between. So you can say must not, must or must not, and then you can also say match all or any. So if I switch this any to any, now we get an or statement between our two restrictions. If we say all, then they have to finish this essay, this quiz here, and they have to be from the United States to do that. So you have your ability to set that information however you want to, but you do have the ability to set any and or statements here. One note of caution when doing this is just kind of keep in mind that you don't want to set so many restrictions that you cause frustration for your learners. You want to make sure that they are actually able to complete it, right? So you want to set some logical restrictions there, but you do have the ability to set groups of restrictions. So kind of short and sweet today, guys. I apologize again for being late, and this is kind of just a neat feature that I want you to be aware of. Does anybody have any questions for me today on anything, this topic or others?